Okay, we continue Mulefes Sappirim, Rebroshim Shehel, these Zayars that we're learning. We'll cut away all the Kotsim from the Kerem, and get the Shechina Me'afra and get us out of Begos, Barachamim, Herabi Amenu. Okay, so as the Rosh God's being malakid and translating for us Zohars on various mitzvahs here, and we're on Yom HaShishi, entry Nun Gimel. Talmud says lo sir, lo sinov, lo signov, shekos bem six. So when the Torah says lo sirtzach, lo sinov, lo signov, so it's written, there's a psik, like there's a break. Lo sirtzach, lo sinov, lo signov, right? Ublo tada en ksiv, right? And by lo sane, there is no psik, right? So, relying on, the diktuk is above me, but it seems that, lo sirtzach, everything is like, it just stops after the, the command, the initial two words, not to kill, stop. Not to do adultery, stop. But lo sane brecha, it's shakir, doesn't say lo sane, right? Something along those lines. So Zohar is addressing that. Because every stuff tzadikim on base. At times it calls lo sir lo sir, because if it wouldn't be lo sir, it would just say lo sirtzach, and it would just go without breaking to lo sinov. And here Shasar feels right might say that this is a all-inclusive sweeping statement that is not posek, doesn't stop. And it's even usher to kill Russia. You might think God can't kill Hamas, or he can't kill the Palestinian people that are collaborating with them and are enabling them and being their human shields. Anyone who's a Russia, because they are not overthrowing their evil government, right? So Rishoyim. You might think it's also not to kill even Rishoyim. And there are I feel Rishon, I say that not to commit adultery. You would think even with your own wife. Now I'm not sure what the mitzias is. I do not. Maybe you would think that even you're not allowed to live with your own wife under certain circumstances. And now you would say lo signov also without a psik, without like a period that shows that it stops. So we think it's a sweeping isser, which includes Gneva Stas, which include that, Talmud, right, cannot, be humble in front of his Rebbe, because we know you're allowed to, Talmud Chacham is allowed to, deny that he learned something, say he didn't learn something out of humility, as particularly in face of your Rebbe, right? I imagine that's what it's talking about, or something like that. So that we're allowed to bend the truth. So it says, so saying it low, lo signov, right? Psik means it stops somewhere. It's not sweeping. Or like no das, right? Or this is more understandable. That the dying wants to trick the cheater that's in front of him to get him to admit. So he bends the truth to see what the guy will say. And it's try to trick him up, right? Trip him up, right? So which is mutter to do because you're doing it for the purpose of arriving at the truth, out crookeding the crooked. So that's why it says lo signov. I mean, it ends somewhere. Yesh davar aser mutter, right? It ends somewhere because it's aser. There's something that remains beyond that in that category. That's mutter. So psik, it stops somewhere. It's not a sweeping isser under all conditions. And that's why lo sana, there's no psik, right? It goes straight into however the grammar works. It says there's no period that abruptly stops it for that, however that works. The main thing is the message. Because never, ever, ever lie. Never say falsehood. See, Gneva Stas is not to say falsehood. It's like, you bend the truth in a way that the person get the wrong idea, which generally is usher, but a Talmud could do it for his Rebbe out of humility purposes. The dayan could do it for the purpose of tripping up the cheater, right, the liar. right? But to mamish say falsehood is always asur, always asur. So it's not about saying the truth in a way that it gives a fake impression. No, that's Gneva Das. That's why it's not called lying. It's called Gneva Das, right? You're saying something in a way that gives you're putting a spin on the way you say it. It gives the wrong impression, right? Well, what's the famous story of, give an example just so it should be clear. Like the Gemara says that, it's brought down La Locha. A classical case of Gnevas Das is that, listen, you are, anyway, breaking open a bottle of wine because you're going to be selling it as bottles, right? You're not selling the whole barrel. You're not selling it by the barrel. You're breaking it open because you're going to start draining it into bottles and you're going to sell individual bottles. Now you have a guest that came to your house, just as, you were planning anyway to break open a barrel. So you break open the barrel in front of the guest to make him think it's l'chvoidoi. It's it's like this wine was in storage and you're breaking it open just because we're going to break open that barrel anyway. That's gives us, you didn't lie, right? But you did it in a way where the guy gets a false impression. Right, that's Gnevas Das, right? Which is also except in the case that we said, but the to mamish lie is always also, right? They talk kelam gari lo sachman yomer b'psik. So now the problem is that lo sachmod is also no psik. The issur of lo sachmod of not coveting something. But now there is something that you're allowed to covet. You could be jealous of how someone is knows more than you, in a way that it'll motivate you to learn more, or because you're jealous of what he has, you could pay him to teach. They should teach you his Torah. All right, which, by the way, by lo sachmod is mamish asur. People don't realize lo sachmod is a isser that you are. It's not just in the heart, but it's finalized by an action of approaching the guy and say, "Sell me your house." It's not on the market. Just pushing the guy, that pressuring to sell it, is a problem. Lo sachmod. It's something to be very, very careful about, right? People don't realize that. If something was never for sale, and the guy had no intention, there was no for sale sign. You want that? Give me your house. I'll pay you whatever you want. That's lo sachmod. Now, so it's a equivalent by Torah, like you know Kabbalah. Let's say I don't. Here's money. Teach me, right? Not a problem. Lo sachmod, right? Chibur Torah is mutter, right? So they should have also had to put a psik to say lo sachmod's not sweeping. It's mutter by Torah. So it said, well, by lo sachmod says Zohar didn't need to put a psik because it started saying examples, beischa, the bias, the sadeh, the isha, right? All these things, So you see, we're not talking about Torah, right? And so you see, by the details that the Torah gives for lo sachmod, you can see that Torah is obviously not a problem, so you didn't have to say a psik. It's a very straightforward Zohar, and you can understand why he selected it, and that everyone could appreciate the Zohar. It's not, not being holech rachel megal side. Okay. Lamalas bar mitzvah. Okay, so now this is a good Zohar to know for anyone who has a bar mitzvah boys. For the mile of bar mitzvah, because we say for Shmos daf tzadi chesam and aleph. So in Zohar Chelek Beis daf tzadi chesam komi zochel gimel shana v'hala. Anyone who reaches 13 and above, and zocher to grow to reach 13 years of age and up, nikra ben klesro. Right, you're called a son of the assembly of Israel, right? Because now you're a player. You help, because now you're mitzvahs. You're now mitzvah v'oseh, go to mitzvah v'oseh, yosem mishenu mitzvah v'oseh, and now your mitzvahs really shake the olamas, really, and that's what the Ramchal says. That's what's between mitzvah v'oseh and mitzvah v'oseh. You do a mitzvah voluntarily, not mechuyev. Yeah, of course, Rebbe will reward you for having a good heart. So of course the cotton that does mitzvahs, mitzvah v'oseh, will get some schar, but that the mitzvah should now have the power to change the world and to enhance the shechina in the world. So now you call it ben of Knesset Yisrael. That's why bar mitzvah. You're in mitzvahs. You're You're in it. You're a son of mitzvahs. You're a son of the Shechina, because right now your actions will affect how the Shechina is, enhanced in its presence in Olam Hazeh, or God forbid, the other way. Right? Just like the Khan doesn't have a penalty for his Averis, it also doesn't do cosmic damage either, right? And but the same goes with mitzvahs. It doesn't make the same tikkun as a bar mitzvah, right? So then you call the beggar. So now you're part of Knesset Yisrael. Look in the words of the Rambam. That's why a son under bar mitzvah could, God forbid, suffer for the sins of the parents. He's not a ben of the Shechina yet. He's like his father's behema. He's like Mamono, and that's why he could suffer for the sins of his father. He's like chattel, right? So to speak. Okay. So when you're a bar mitzvah, you're also a ben to Knesset Yisrael. Right? By the way, Torah is Tiferes, mitzvah is Malchus. That's the Shechina. Yeah, I do believe, right? So anyway, but that's from bar. That's when you reach bar mitzvah upwards. But if you reach 20, you've reached another landmark that you're called a son of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shlomo, Shlomo, when he reached the age of 20, said the Pasuk Mishnah, Ki ben ha'isi lavi, as a child to my father, he's made my real father, the Father in heaven. All right, so it's another madrega of 20. Now you got to put this in, you understand why at the age of 20 you're chayiv now bedine shamayim. From there, from 13 up, you're an adult, and Bezdin Shomata punishes you. But you get a little bit of you get an extension. And at the age of 20 already, now, you're chayiv bedine. HaKadosh will punish you also for your sins, not just Bezdin Shal Mata. All right? That also means that your actions are of greater value, and your averos are of greater, by virtue of your mitzvahs having more power. Your averos also have more power, do more damage. That's why HaKadosh has to punish you. So it shows that level of 20, there's another higher level of the neshama settling in the body. It's all about, how in course of a person's lifetime, more of his neshama settles in his body. That's why, Shivim, at 70 years, it's like you've lived a full life. Your neshama is fully merged with your body if you were a righteous person. And that's why you have to be mechaber to 70-year-old. He has more of his neshama in you, and therefore he's more of a spiritually evolved creature than you are. But it happens already at the age of 20 is a turning point. Now, of course, you have to take it, bear in mind that ideally, to enhance the tikkun of becoming 20, you should be married already. Bet Shmona Esrei Lechuppah. That means after you turn 17, as the Ram writes, that's your 18th year, and you're supposed to be married by 20. And Chazal say that, the Ram brings out halacha, right? You should be, God forbid, if you're not married by 20, it was tipach atzmos, tipach ruche, it's called the delayed marriage. Of course, that's all talking that it was shaykh to get married. You were mature enough, and the reason why not is because you were mature enough, you had the affluence that, you were able to afford to set up home, and still you didn't do it. Right, but you're supposed to do it. The time to get married is between after your 17th birthday, which is your 18th year, until the time of 20. 20. So now while you reach another says that it happens anyway, but it's fully enhanced if by that time you're married also. Okay, and that's by then you are in an ideal world, in the world of Chazal and the Rishonim, you're supposed to be married by 20. Okay, anytime from your 18th year. And you should get it done by 20. Also, it says right there in the Zohar Shmos, Kuvav base. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates him b'nei Adam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, he's really kind, with people. Right, so now from the age of 13 on, together with your spiritual power, right, you get now 2 guardian angels. Now, I do believe that even a newborn has one guardian angel. One guardian angel. That's the halach Adam Islay Mazel. And Adam has Mazel. He has a guardian angel, and that's why Muad Behema. That's Muad. Behema is not Muad LaAdam. So there's a machlokas Rishonim. It means the angel. Two Shas and Rashi. Das or a guardian angel. And I remember when I was a first year base Dafka, when I was barely 17, learned Baba Kama first year base medrash. I graduated early. I remember my Magachir time with Freud. I wonder where he is today. He said that Nafka until it shows Rashi is a cotton. The cotton will have a guardian angel, but he doesn't have das to be shomer himself. So that's the nafka between these two Shanas and Rashi, what makes man different from animals as far as being muad. If it's that he has a special guardian angel, and that's why, whereas a bear is more vulnerable, that would apply even to a cotton. If it's that he has das lishmar, then that difference would not apply to a cotton. All right, so it was at least, and he was not. It wasn't his chiddush saying it over. Named the big Rosh Hashiva, so. So even a cotton has one guardian angel at least, but at the age of bar mitzvah, you have two guardian angels, right? Right. Based on shows he has two guardian angels. One is on the right side, one's on the left side. And when a person goes, if that boy, is that bar mitzvah boy, it goes in the good path. These angels are just so happy with him, and they announce his coming. They like call before him, like the way there are announcers in front of kings. Tanu cover Yukashamel, give cover to he who mamish as the tselem of the melech. He's a real tokib. If a person is guilty, a person does bad things, he's a Russia. I'd save him. Those same angels are upset with him. They are, disappointed in him. Now, this is what the pasuk. This is all the Zohar talking. This is what the pasuk alludes to by Balei Tshuva. Is what the Navi Yeshayahu says. I saw his ways and I healed him. What do I healed him? So the guy started doing tshuva, or he changed his ways. Hashem helped him to fully do tshuva, and that's our prayer. And I healed him. I healed him from his spiritual illness. And now once he has done tshuva, so the pasuk goes on to say, and I will give condolences, consolation, I should say. I'll give consolation to him, ulavev, and those who were in mourning over him. Who was in mourning over him? I mean, he was bad. Okay, so console him for they shouldn't feel bad for his past sins. Who was in mourning over him? I console when I help him do tshuva and I restore him to righteousness. I will give consolation to him and those who are in mourning over him. Also, the ones who were mourning over him were his guardian angels that were very saddened, disappointed, and saddened by him not being on the derech. Nunvav. Right? The idea of why it is so terrible, right, to swear falsely, right? Because Shmo Stav Tzayel from Beis. So Zohar in the Shmo Stav Tzayel from Beis writes, "Kosh Baruch Hu bara olam." When Kosh created the world, some al piyat to home tzorachad Shmo Yisbarach Hakolav. We have talked about creation to my Maskola. Varayam Usham. So when Kosh created the world. So he put, of course, he pushed the waters down into the depth of the earth, and he put one rock which has his divine name engraved on it, and put it into the tomb, and that's what keeps the water in check, that it stays down there and doesn't burst forth and flood the world. And that rock is still there, right? That rock is still there. By the way, this is alluded to also in Gemara in Makkas, I think it is, or is it Sukkah, where David Melch was digging up the famous Gemara David Melch, and he actually removed that little, was doing the foundation basement, he actually removed that thing and caused the world to be, flooded, and he had to, rewrite the divine name on a rock to bring the waters back. So I guess what is always said, that rock is still until today, means even though David Melch had to, accidentally lifted it and had to replace it. But there is a rock with the divine name that's keeping the waters in check, keep them down from coming up and flooding the earth, right? Now, if a person swears in truth, meaning when the halacha says chayiv shvua, and he does so in truth, also that rock will actually get up and receive that oath. That was a true oath. That was proper, and it receives it, and it goes back, right? To serve its station of keeping the waters in check, that they should not rise up and flood the world. And that oath of Shua Semes, now it's called, it's really in the merit of that swearing in truth is now upholding the world by, because it's there on that rock that is keeping the waters in check. But at the time when a person, God forbid, swears falsely, also the Kabbal also sheker, so this rock with the divine name that holds the waters in check rises to receive also a sheker, that lie, that's false swearing. V'amayim hochim v'shatim v'oses atzor pochos b'tocha oisius the tahomos. So now, as it rises to receive that fake shvua, the waters rise also, right? And now the letters of the divine name now get scrambled by the letters of the false oath. The letters of falsehood scramble the letters of the shame, right? And then those scrambled letters now go into the depths of and the world true. The waters really now want to seek to now take the opportunity to burst forth and swamp the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a hint. To the one that to one appointed angel that's that passed on to another appointed angel, that to the one that has is appointed over the 70 keys, besod Shem Amforish, the 70 keys that correspond to the Shem Amforish. Right, and then that angel re-engraves the divine name into that rock. So the message is that God, swearing in truth upholds the world and keeps the natural balance and keeps the world from being swamped. Swearing falsely puts the world in peril. That we lose the protection of what's keeping the waters in check. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, just with His infinite mercy, commands an angel, tells an angel to re-engrave the divine name on that stone, because the divine name got scrambled by the letters of the false swearing. So it has to be re-engraved, and that's what saves the world, right? So it means every time you swear falsely, you're putting the world in peril of just being swamped. Let's do two more. Inyan motzi mipiv asher the onesh misha motzi piv asher lo sharabo, the penalty that you deserve if you actually say something that you didn't hear from your Rebbe. You make something up, right? Now if it's your own chiddush and you say so, it's fine. If you say this is Torah, you make it sound like it's always been Torah back to, and it's not saying you heard from your Rebbe. Over there, Zohar makes it more specific. That's not that you said in the name of your Rebbe never told you that. You want to claim your Rebbe said that. If your Rebbe you did time, let's say by Gadol Ador, so you want what you want to say to be accepted. So you say my Rebbe said, because everyone knows your Rebbe, and your Rebbe did not really say that. HaKadosh Hu is, he'll never forget that, and he is destined to take revenge from you, right? At the time where your neshama leaves your body and wants to go to its rightful place in heaven, HaKadosh Hu will make sure it's pushed off, it's barred from its place in heaven. And the Zohar asks, it's like seemingly there's a steering. So it says, Lo sasecha pesel, do not make any idol. Ksiv hasam psolacha, right? It's a Makash told Moshe Beru psolacha shnechos avonim karishainim. Carve out 2 tablets. But it says Lo sasecha pesel. Is Rebbe contradicting himself? He asked making a pesel, a carved thing, and then tells Moshe to carve the tablets. Why aren't the tablets of pesel? He said, so dafka, right. So the Zohar comes to say it's very simple. Los hasecha pesel alludes to los hasecha taracheres. Don't make lecha pesel. Don't make your own pesel. Don't make your own tar. So if let's say pesel refers to luchos, don't make your own aseres hadibros or something. Don't make up your own Torah. That you did not, that you did not hear from your Rebbe, right? So lo sasa lecha pesel. It prohibits, don't make your own luchos, right? If you want to pesel on the luchos, don't make up your own Torah, right? Whereas psolacha is to, carve out that v'chasavti luchos that I should put my Torah, Hashem says, on those luchos. So you could be posel luchos to carry authentic word of God, but the stuff that you made up, lo saseh lecha pesel, right? There's a famous word from the Baal Shem Tov that I see. I'm learning a lot of new stuff, learning Mulefes Sappirim with you all. The Baal Shem Tov was, was inspired by the Zohar. He says, it says psol lecha, it says lo saseh pesel. He has the same kasha as the Zohar, and he says, look, he says a chasir musar word, right? Depends where's lecha. Lo saseh lecha pesel. The issue is putting yourself before the pesel because of the egocentricity. The ego, putting yourself first. That's what it's also. But psol lecha, right? First the pesel and then you. That's mutter, right? The problem is that you put the lecha before the pesel. That's the also. When you put your ego before the Torah, right? There's always, there's always the famous, another verse from the Kotzker from the Bible, Musar psol lecha, pasel yourself. When you put the lecha after the pesel, like Moshe did, it's like, we read psol lecha, make yourself pasel, always view yourself as needing improvement. As you put the lecha before the pesel, there's lecha, and then pesel, other people are pasel. Right? There's all the words, but it's all these different words I see were inspired by this Zohar. All right, we'll do one more. The penalty for speaking lashon hara say v'reika daf nun gimel amid aleph says v'reika daf gan amid aleph Rabbi Chia called motzi lashon hara nitbu kol evarav. Anyone who actually says lashon hara, all his organs have been defiled. They all became tamei. So you should be locked up like a mitzora who's tamei. Because that words lashon go up and awaken from the kal, get a response cosmic of a ruach tuma, and of course abali tamei. So since you came to make things tamei, you're matama the cosmos. So the first and foremost thing that should become tamei as a result is you yourself who caused the whole problem. Okay, we will stop here. The Zohar should stand for us that we should get out of this goal. Barachamim Gedolim Tekef Umiyad. Amen.